It's a potential welterweight war in Florida. Dan Tom here with MMA Junkie to help you break down the main event for UFC on ESPN 42 between Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Kevin Trailblazer, aka the Smackman Holland. Holland, of course, found himself on the wrong end of a card shakeup and choke, both caused by one Khamzat Chimaev. Of course, he's going to try to regain the momentum he had prior, going 2-0, returning to the welterweight division when he meets Thompson this Saturday. Of course, Thompson is on a 2-fight losing skid. He's going to look to stop the bleeding there. Those were, of course, tough stylistic matchups against really tough and talented opponents, but now he's going to have a more stylistically favorable matchup, at least on paper, in an opponent like Holland, who should oblige him in the striking. At the time of this video, the odds makers opened the fight even, but public money has come in on Holland, who is now your favorite at minus 150, with the comeback on your underdog Thompson in the neighborhood of plus 130 via Tipico Sportsbook. Now, that doesn't really surprise me, both the opener and the line movement, since we tend to see bettors and the public in general sway toward the younger fighter. It is a younger man's sport. Thompson, we've seen him take shots and maybe not as well recently and maybe not look as great. Again, tough stylistic matchups. You have to go back and watch those fights, so you may be surprised that he did better than what you remember. That being said, Father Time is undefeated, so if Thompson shows up this Saturday and he is looking slower and he's not able to maybe take a shot that well, none of us should be surprised. That being said, I do think Thompson is live as an underdog. If you're, maybe the gambling type, perhaps you got a live underdog on your hands. That being said, I won't be rushing to bet this fight. My Kempo Karate bias has me pulling for Wonderboy. I think by decision, if this fight gets there, he will have a great argument for it should it make it there. I think he's the more talented striker, the more varied striker. He can counter, he can find counter right hands on Holland, but similar strengths and similar weaknesses in this matchup, so the counter right hand will be very potent coming back the other way, so potent that it actually has my pick going the other way in Holland here. Outside of the 5th round knockdown to Darren Till that Stephen Thompson sustained, all of his knockdowns and the knockout loss, of course, as well, have come off of right hands or counter right hands. And we've seen the intercepting right hand that Thompson has. Well, you can kind of accuse Holland of having a similar death touch, if you will, not to overemphasize the effect, but yes, Holland, don't let his skinny frame fool you. He can pop, he can be very accurate coming forward and off the counter, as well as crashing mid-exchange. With Bob Perez in these recent camps, we've also seen him add more better tie kicks, leg kicks to the calf, traditional to the thigh. I think that's going to serve him very well here. So I'm actually going to go to Holland. I think Stephen Thompson is going to make Holland better sweat. He's going to be looking great. Probably until he isn't, right? Until he gets maybe caught with something. I have a sneaky suspicion. I hope I'm wrong. I love Stephen Thompson. Kempo Karate, baby, all the way. But you know what? I got to be an unbiased analyst here. I think Holland takes this one. For a more detailed breakdown, more stats, go to my in-depth breakdown at MMAJunkie.com, where you can find results this weekend.